If you felt like last year's draft class wasn't as strong as it should have been, then this year's class will more than likely make up for it. The college basketball season is well past the halfway mark, and there's enough of a sample size to get a good evaluation of this year's prospects. And unlike last year, this year's class will have the opportunity to boost their draft stock with the return of the NCAA tournament. And this was the first year where prospects could participate in regular season games in the G League. And many could make the argument that playing in the G League could better prepare you for the next level than playing in college ever could. This class has multiple players that project as potential stars. The quality of prospects in the top 5 is just as good as any other in the last couple of years. If you're ready for the 411 on this year's class, then you're in the right spot. This is part 1 of my NBA prospect breakdown of the 2021 NBA draft class. Oklahoma freshman guard Cade Cunningham. He came into the season as the #1 overall prospect, and his play this year at Oklahoma State has only solidified his place at the top of the draft. The #1 prospect should be a player with the highest upside, with limited to no weaknesses. I believe Cunningham is that guy in this draft. His rare combination of size, versatility, skill level, and basketball IQ has contributed to wins despite not having the best supporting cast around him. Cunningham continues to expand his game as a shooter and has shown some improvement scoring in the paint. There's not another top 50 recruit on the roster at Oklahoma State. The difference between a player like Cunningham and last year's #1 pick Anthony Edwards is that Cunningham is polished enough to win games by himself in college. He's a big guard standing around 6'7", 6'8", weighing around 220 pounds. He's able to control the pace of the game and plays well beyond his years. He has good court vision and makes great decisions with the ball. He's got good handles and strength to get to his spots and can manipulate the defense. His game reminds me of superstar Luka Doncic, a player who is not the fastest or quickest player, but has the size, the handles, and the IQ to take over games as a scorer and a passer. Cunningham doesn't have elite athleticism, but he can play above the rim and has the strength to finish through contact. He has broad shoulders, good length with a 7-foot wingspan, and has a solid NBA frame. His feel for the game and size is NBA ready. He can score in the lane, from mid-range, and can hit the three-point shot. Cunningham has a veteran presence about him and plays with great poise. It seems he can get wherever he wants to on the floor. He knows what he wants to do before he even makes a move, thinking 2 steps ahead. I have this guy as my #1 prospect, and I expect him to be the #1 draft pick regardless of what team has the first pick. G League forward Jonathan Kuminga. I feel Kuminga has the best chance to challenge Cunningham as the #1 pick. He's probably improved his stock more than any other prospects projected in the top 10. Coming out of high school, he mostly relied more on his athleticism than skill to overpower his defenders. Some scouts had their doubts about his skill level and how effective he could be on the next level. But choosing to play in the G League against real NBA competition has mostly silenced those doubts. Kuminga is the type of athlete that only comes around every few years. He is very explosive off the floor and can play above the rim. As his skill level continues to develop, he could potentially be a multiple-time All-Star. Kuminga could be a household name in a few years. He has impressed with his willingness to play within the offense with his team, and his feel for the game has been much better than advertised. He has shown flashes of potentially being a good outside shooter, but he's still inconsistent at this point. His handle is good, but needs to get better. He seems to be on the same trajectory as a player like Jalen Brown, a player who came into the league as a slasher with great athleticism, but wasn't yet a good shooter or creator. At 6'8" with that athleticism, Kuminga could be very hard to guard if he ever gets a consistent jump shot. He's been a willing passer also, which only raises his profile as an overall prospect. I don't see Kuminga getting drafted no later than number 3. G League guard Jalen Green. Green is a jaw-dropping athlete. He has natural speed, quickness, and leaping ability that will leave you speechless, showing the same effortless fluidity of some of the NBA's greatest athletes at such a young age. Green has the ideal size for his position at 6'6", with elite burst and bounce. Green is still very much learning how to play the game, but has a natural scoring ability. He's always been a shoot-first player, but has shown to be a willing passer at times in the G League. But make no mistake about it, his #1 talent is getting buckets. I don't believe he necessarily have to be a great playmaker. Just being a willing passer is good enough. He's a bona fide scorer. Let him be the best at it. He has the makeup of an all-star like Zach LaVine, long, lanky guard with next-level athleticism. LaVine has become one of the best scorers in the league who can get hot real quick. That's what Green can be if he continues to develop his game. He can keep a defense honest with his outside shooting and has a deadly step-back jumper. He's also becoming a knockdown three-point shooter. Green has a quick first step and plays with good rhythm and good body control. Being aggressive driving to the basket really complements his pull-up game. He has a slight wiry frame, but does play stronger than he looks, but he still needs to add more strength. There's no doubt that Jalen Green is a top 5 prospect this year. USC freshman big man Evan Mobley. The 7-foot freshman has obvious natural ability and is just starting to grow into a skill set that fits today's NBA as a big man. Mobley projects as a terrific defensive prospect. He has a ridiculous 7'5" wingspan. He has great shot blocking instincts and awareness and has the lateral quickness to hold his own on switches. He's the rare big man you can build a defense around, and he combines that with solid offensive skills. He has the tools to be a complete big man in today's NBA. Mobley makes so many plays look so easy for a player his size. He has the handles and coordination to attack from the three-point line and drive it all the way to the rim. He has the quickness to beat defenders off the dribble, the basketball IQ to read defenses, and the balance and shooting touch to rise up and make shots with a hand in his face. He's shooting around 35% from the three-point line, but he's only shooting around 1 attempt per game, which is a very small sample size. Mobley is more comfortable playing on the perimeter on offense. He was a guard in middle school, which you can't see when you watch him play. He's very slender as a big man, as he's listed at around 215 pounds. He isn't strong enough to get deep position around the rim. He reminds me of Chris Bosh, a player who is very long and mobile and can score from the inside and the outside, but wasn't necessarily known as a physical player. I believe Bosh was a little more aggressive as a scorer coming out of Georgia Tech. Mobley is very unselfish and plays within the offense. Give Mobley time to grow into his body, and he'll be a supreme weapon for you in the long run. Gonzaga freshman guard Jalen Suggs. Suggs is a combo guard with good size, great vision, and good quickness. Jalen is a very heady player who makes the right play and is a team-first guy. His basketball IQ is off the charts, as he has an advanced understanding of the game for a young guard and is literally a coach on the floor. He plays with high intensity and competitive fire and is a true leader on the court. His football background is very evident as a defensive player and a rebounder. He's aggressive and powerful at the point of attack on defense and plays bigger than his height. He had a monster start to his freshman season, and many believe early on that he should be in the discussion for the #1 pick. I never thought he had that potential, but he has gone from a mid-first round projection to a near lock in the top 5. Suggs is one of the best players on the best team in college basketball who is currently still undefeated. Unlike with Cunningham and Mobley, Suggs has a great supporting cast around him to maximize his talent. Suggs is worthy of the hype as a 6'3" guard who is a true two-way player. He has a smooth jumper with a nice quick release and good range. Suggs can put a ton of pressure on the defense with his transition game and open court ability. He is just as effective off the ball as he is on the ball on offense. This guy reminds me of Mr. Big Shot, Chauncey Billups, a true leader. Strong frame, strong will, and a strong game. Billups had a great feel for the game and could direct his teammates in the right spot on the court. I believe Suggs and Billups are mirror images of each other. Suggs might not ever be top 5 in scoring or assists in his NBA career, but he is a winning basketball player. He plays to win the game. Stats are secondary to a player like this. He will be a good basketball player for a long time, and if he goes to the right situation with the right talent, he could be an all-star. Florida State freshman forward Scottie Barnes. There is somewhat of a drop-off after the top 5 prospects, but Barnes probably has the best case of any prospect beyond that. At Florida State, he has been able to affect the game in multiple ways. Barnes is a do-it-all type of forward. He has tremendous size and length, standing 6'8", 230 pounds with around a 7'2" wingspan. Barnes has good confidence with the ball in his hands. He's been a good playmaker as he does a great job reading the defense and making passes to the open man. And he loves to attack the basket. With his size and athleticism, he can finish through contact with ease. His defensive potential is a very huge selling point as a prospect. He has the physicality to match up against offensive players at multiple positions and shows good instincts forcing turnovers. Barnes doesn't mind doing the dirty work on defense. His weakness is his outside shooting. He has struggled from the free throw line and the three-point line. If he can score at all in the league and keep the defense honest, he'll check all the boxes you need to have a long, successful career. UConn sophomore guard James BOUKNIGHT. BOUKNIGHT is one of the best scorers in this class. His first 6 games this season really turned a lot of heads, and his performances drew a lot of interest with NBA scouts. He had a 40-point explosion in the game against Creighton. He had to miss around 6 weeks with an injury. He was sidelined after having surgery to deal with bone spurs in his left non-shooting elbow. It doesn't matter if he's on the ball or off the ball. He can just get buckets. BOUKNIGHT is a crafty scoring guard with big-time handles and nice range. He is good at attacking closeouts, running around screens, and taking advantage of dribble handoffs. He is very explosive and a great athlete with a lot of natural ability. BOUKNIGHT has a nice first step and shows great balance as he finishes in traffic. He needs to get stronger and more consistent from the perimeter. He has good height for a combo guard, but he needs to add strength and muscle to his slim frame. I wouldn't necessarily call BOUKNIGHT a natural playmaker, but he has improved. BOUKNIGHT can get buckets, and his best role on the team could be as a microwave scorer coming off the bench. He could be like Jordan Clarkson, a player around 6'4", 6'5", who has great handles, can get to his spots on the court and light it up. Somebody you don't need to put pressure on to make plays for everybody, but somebody you can give the ball to and he'll get you a bucket. Stanford freshman guard ZIAIRE Williams. The intrigue with Williams is his height and length for a wing player and his offensive potential. Williams is a 6'8" wing player with terrific shot-making ability and has shown that at certain times this season. But despite those flashes of potential, he's had a very underwhelming freshman season. He has not lived up to the preseason hype as a projected top 5 prospect. Williams has battled injuries and inconsistency during his time at Stanford. His lack of physical strength has held back his ability to score in the paint and has limited him on the defensive end as well. Williams takes a lot of bad shots and also settles for too many jump shots, which could be because he's not confident finishing through contact at this point. He's shown he's a willing passer, but he's recorded more turnovers than assists. Williams will really benefit from another year in college to improve his overall game. The skill set is there, but I don't believe he's mentally or physically ready to make an impact in the NBA right now. Duke freshman forward Jalen Johnson. Johnson has been getting a lot of buzz over the last couple of weeks, but for the wrong reasons. He decided to opt out after only playing 13 games. There's been a lot of conversation about did he quit on the team, and is this a sign of bad things to come for college basketball? Regardless if you try to defend him or try to criticize him, I don't believe this situation will affect his draft stock that much. It'll be his game and what he can bring to the table on the next level that will determine where he goes in the draft. Johnson is the type of player who can do a lot of things, but doesn't necessarily do anything at an elite level for the most part. He is a good passer in the open court and has a good combination of size and ball skills, but he's not a consistent jump shooter and lacks the quickness and handles to beat his defenders off the dribble. He can handle the ball a little bit, but his handle isn't good enough to create separation consistently. Johnson has an impressive size and body control, standing 6'9", weighing around 220 pounds. He's a good athlete and can get easy buckets in transition, but there are a lot of holes in his game. His motor is questionable, and so is his awareness. Coach K was very hard on the 18-year-old. and he didn't really respond like you would hope. Occasionally, Johnson was known in high school for his inconsistency and looking disengaged. That reputation followed him as a college basketball player. Johnson has become the most polarizing prospect in this draft class, and some scouts believe he's too talented to fall past the lottery. Without a consistent jump shot, and with his propensity to check out of games, could lead to a very disappointing NBA career. Now, there might be NBA teams out there that may take a chance on him strictly off his potential and draft him early. I actually believe he has a good chance to be drafted in the top 10, regardless if I agree with it or not. Tennessee freshman guard KEON Johnson. Johnson is probably the best pure athlete in the draft class. He plays extremely hard, is wildly athletic, and is an impressive defender. He's a tenacious and tough-minded defensive player who can slide his feet and contain the point of attack. He's very competitive and seems to love to play defense. Johnson is an excellent run and jump athlete who plays mostly off the ball on offense. He's looking for cutting lanes to the basket and attacking closeouts off spot-ups. Johnson can finish at the rim better than anybody in the class, but saying he's raw offensively will be an understatement. The big issue with him is he's not a good shooter, and he has a suspect handle, which could limit his potential going forward. But he has shown flashes as a potential playmaker and has a feel for the game that will indicate a lot of room for growth. His toughness and effort are two important factors that give NBA scouts the confidence that Johnson is destined to find a way to make an impact on the next level. You can't teach effort, and with this athletic ability, an NBA team will find a way to get him playing time. But is he worth the lottery pick is the question. Arkansas freshman guard Moses Moody. He's one of the best shot makers in the class, and once he gets hot, it's hard to cool him down. His pure shooting stroke with his size at the two guard position is enough to get a lot of NBA teams interested. Moody is 6'6", 200 pounds with an amazing 7'1" wingspan. Very impressive length for a two guard. He profiles as a reliable 3-and-D prospect, and he doesn't turn 19 years old until May. Moody has found a way to score off the ball and on the ball for the Razorbacks this season. He can score off the catch, attacking closeouts, and has a nice 1-dribble to 2-dribble pull-up game. He does a good job drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line. He's not a great athlete, and he lacks the explosiveness to consistently get by his opponents off the dribble. His length allows him to play the passing lanes well and has the chance to be a plus defender with more time. Moody has come up clutch for the Razorbacks this season. He's one of the main reasons why Arkansas is ranked in the top 25 and has a chance to make some noise in the NCAA tournament. He has scored at least 20 points 6 times, and he has shot at least 60% from the field 5 times. With a lot of uncertainty outside the top 5, I could easily see Moses Moody being drafted in the top 10. Kentucky freshman guard B.J. Boston. Nobody's draft stock has dropped further from the start of the season more than B.J. Boston. This guy came into the season as a projected top 3 pick because of his ability to score from anywhere on the court. At this point, he'll be lucky to be drafted in the top 20. Scouts believe his struggles are more based on his confidence than his skills. Staying in school another year shouldn't be off the table at this point. There's still some upside to his game, and Boston has occasionally shown he can be a good scorer at Kentucky. But he hasn't been efficient from anywhere on the court, and he doesn't always give great effort on the other end. He has good height for a 2-guard at 6'7", and he can create separation off the dribble. Another issue for Boston might be his narrow frame and lack of strength. I don't believe he'll ever live up to his preseason hype. If he does come out this year, maybe his high school pedigree will be enough for a team to take a gamble on him in the first round. You will definitely need time and patience for Boston to live up to his talent level. Arizona State freshman guard Josh Christopher. Christopher has a natural scoring ability who can get buckets in bunches. He's a good ball handler, an above average athlete, and has decent size and strength for a 2-guard. Christopher scores most of his points inside the arc. He uses pull-up jumpers from mid-range, and he attacks the lane and can absorb contact. He shoots around 44% on 2-point jumpers and shoots around 70% at the rim, but he is held back by his bad 3-point shooting. His mentality is almost like a player like DeMar DeRozan. a player who does most of his damage in the mid-range and at the rim. Aside from his three-point shooting, Christopher is not really a willing passer, and his decision-making has been poor to say the least. NBA scouts really question how much of an impact he has on winning. Christopher loves to take a lot of tough shots, and that can be to the team's detriment. He does play with great energy, and that can be contagious. He has a lot of confidence and has the raw tools to be a legit scorer with more time to polish his offensive game. He needs to work on playing within the offense and work on his shot selection. Auburn freshman guard SHARIFE Cooper. Cooper has certainly gotten a lot of attention with his electric style of play ever since he made his college debut on January 9th. He is a flashy point guard who is a very gifted passer. He has a knack for finding angles and creases in the defense to create opportunities for his teammates. Cooper has an assist rate around 50%, which would lead the nation if he played enough games. He has shown a great ability to draw fouls, which will be very important for him on the next level if it translates. As much as Cooper made a name for himself with his great court vision and speed, there are more things going against him. First off, his size is a big issue. He's listed at 6'1", and that may be a stretch. That's definitely undersized. He's also been inefficient from the field and is not a good three-point shooter. As much as a good distributor he is, he's very turnover prone. He does compete hard on defense and gives great effort. He projects more as a backup point guard than a capable starter on the next level. There was a lot of hype early on with him being a lottery pick, and in some cases even a top 10 pick, but I believe that was premature. Texas freshman big man Greg Brown. Brown is a very impressive athlete, and his size at 6'9", 220 pounds allows him to thrive as a shot blocker, rebounder, and catching lobs. He brings a lot of energy and effort on both sides of the ball. Brown has played on the perimeter a lot in his freshman year at Texas, and it's been a mixed bag. He doesn't have a good enough handle to be able to create offense on his own. Brown will most likely get his buckets on the next level as a cutter, a lob threat, and in transition. And if he can consistently knock down the three-point shot, he'll be able to keep the defense honest. NBA scouts are concerned with his feel for the game. He blocks a lot of shots, but he also gets a lot of fouls. The physical gifts he has can't be taught, but it will take some time for Brown to fully develop his game before he can make a real impact in the NBA.